What's up, guys? Janie Bolte here. So for this week's YouTube video, I'm actually going to share a challenge that I have done in the past. So I'm super excited to share this with you. The video actually lays out baseline information about recruiting, and it may explain why you may be feeling frustrated about some things, and you may feel like you're getting conflicting information, and it's honestly because you are. So this video is really going to help you answer some questions and bust some myths and really just try to dig into what it is that you are struggling with in the recruiting process. And I will actually say in this video, drop whatever in the chat. It's because in this video I was live and I was really asking people to drop their answers in the chat, but I would love for you to answer those questions that I asked and put your answers in the comments. I would love to see those answers. So I hope you enjoy this video. Remember, it is cut from the challenge. I did cut some things out because it was way longer than this, but I really hope you enjoy and I hope it helps you.
So why am I doing this? Why am I so excited about this week for you? Well, I continually get asked the same things and continually get told the same things when I'm talking to hopeful college volleyball families. Things like, you don't know where to start, you're overwhelmed, you're getting conflicting info, you're stuck in a certain place, you can't seem to move the process forward. I hear these things over and over, and these are all pain points. Like, these are things that are ailing you. Yes, yeah. And they're making this dream seem like a nightmare. So, who is where? Let me know in the chat. Are you at the beginning? Are you at the middle of the process? Are you at the end? Are you at the I have no idea where I am? Let me know where you're at. Tell me in the chat. I love this. I love this. I love this. Yeah. So we have people that are at totally different varying stages right here, right now. Okay. So my goal is to take you on this journey and take out the pain. Okay. Move you away from pain and take you towards pleasure. All of this pain is being caused because you have a goal. So what's the goal? Tell me in the chat. What's the goal? Why are you here? What's the goal? And not even just here, like, why did you sign up? Like, what's the main, don't overthink this. Like, what's the main goal? Get recruited. Yeah, exactly. So how do we get you to the goal? Well, essentially, on a basic level, college coaches give you an offer. So most of the time, the mentality is we need them to see you and then you get the offer. But we know it's not that simple, right? So how many of you in here, your kid plays club, or if you are the kid, you play club or go to camps and have a video on Huddle or sports recruits or video platforms already right now? How many of you? Okay, so college coaches have seen your kid. They've already seen them. So we obviously know it's not as simple as we just need college coaches to see your kid, right? So how many of you don't have any of those things that I talked about and you feel a little nauseous thinking about needing those things? Yeah, okay, cool. And that's okay, because my goal is to help you only get the things you need, okay? So let's think about numbers of volleyball players. There are more players now than ever in the history of time, okay? Literally. There are also more college teams for volleyball than there ever has been in the history of time. Are there enough spots for every single kid to play in college? No. But I have college coaches come to me every summer begging for any kid that might be interested because they don't have a full roster. Each college team is instructed to fill a certain amount of spots each year. And when they don't fill those spots, the program is in danger of closing. So essentially, the fact that there aren't enough spots isn't only due to the school. It is in part, yes, very large part. But we Me, you, us, volleyball world, we're letting programs die because some kids aren't even trying to complete the process or they don't have enough information. So they're missing opportunities. This is why I am so passionate and so excited to give you guys all of this information. And before we get way too deep, let me tell you a little bit more about me in case you don't really know who I am. So, I'm a former college volleyball player, but I barely got there because I made so many mistakes. When I was in high school, I was always the kid that was asked what sport I was going to play in college. Not if I wanted to play in college, but what sport I would play. So, one thing I knew was I wanted to major in nutrition. So, I picked the school I picked because it had one of the top nutrition programs in the nation. I get there and I go to register for classes, and the athletic academic advisor was like, you can't major in nutrition and play because there's one class in the fall on Tuesdays and you play on Tuesdays. What? Yeah. So, didn't get to major in what I wanted. The coach did not end up sharing the same moral values that she had expressed originally that she did, and I was miserable. I stumbled into a full ride that was built for someone else. But by the grace of God, I learned from it, from all of it. So then I started my mission to save other players from making the same terrible mistakes I made. And I passionately believe that there are kids that need to play in college, not because of volleyball itself, but because that is the pathway laid out for them to serve them and allow them to serve others. Your child has an impact, and I want to help connect them to that impact. And I don't focus on other sports. I just focus on volleyball because you guys deserve to be taught things from someone that is focusing on the same thing as you, not taking info from other sports and hoping that it fits for volleyball too. That's unfortunately what I was doing unknowingly when I went through the process. And I had so many questions, just like you all. So, here is one of the biggest questions most parents have for me when their child is not around. Is my child actually good enough to play in college? Let me just address that. If your child is making teams, if they are competing at a high level in club, if they're able to do great things while on the court, yes, they're able to play. They are not all D1 material, but if they want to play, there is a spot for them. Like I said earlier, every year I have coaches message me asking if I have any more seniors that will be starting college that fall because they have spots open. I've never had any seniors left in the middle of summer, but I try to point them to some players that I know aren't signed yet. But every year, this is because people are still trying to get recruited following traditional advice. The traditional way of doing recruiting is create a highlight video, post it somewhere, or email it to a coach with a subject line of your name and grad year, and then wait. Hope they get it, hope they open it, hope they like you, and it's all in their hands. Or create a profile somewhere and just wait for a coach to find you. No, you and your child are worth more than this. College coaches wouldn't have a job without your children. Your children are valuable. And hear me out. I'm not talking about the value they hold simply because they were created and life was breathed into them and they have value. I'm talking about volleyball value. There are way too many kids that have a very hard time separating individual value from their sports value, and that ends in a bad way. If you think your personal value is tied to your volleyball game, what happens when you have a bad game? What happens when the coach doesn't play you? What happens when you get injured? What happens when your competitive sport is finished or your eligibility runs out? You finish your college career and you don't go pro. What happens then? You cannot tie your individual value to your volleyball value. Your volleyball value is a reflection built from your individual value. You guys have spent so much time, so much money, so many hours on the road and in hotels away from your bed, literal blood, sweat, and tears on volleyball, right? You've been building this thing that has its own value, a value unlike any other athlete out there. That's what we need to show coaches. You deserve more than just posting on a profile. You deserve more than sending an email and hoping for results. You deserve to have a quality plan to show coaches who you are. That's the starting point of making coaches value your child. It's understanding your value. So put this answer in the chat. If I were to ask your child why they want to play in college volleyball, what would they say? Or kids, if you're there, why do you want to play college volleyball? So I knew most of these answers were going to say, because I love to play, or because I love the game and I don't want to stop playing. Do you just love the game? So you would be good playing rec ball out of college? No organized workouts, no travel, no gear, not representing the team, no coach pushing you to your limits to help you become a better player? Anybody be okay with just rec ball? No. Okay, chances are if you're here, rec ball isn't going to cut it. If you're here and rec ball will cut it, feel free to sign off because there's a lot of other things you can do with your time right now. But if you're here, it's because you and your athlete are a different breed. You want to become a college athlete. You want to be better, and you want coaches that push you to become better. You want to live an unusual life. Guys, being a college volleyball player is an unusual life. In fact, when I was playing in college, anytime my teammates and I talked about new people we met on campus, we would ask, are they a normal student? Meaning we knew we were not normal. Normal people don't love getting up at 5 to tear your muscles down, then have a team breakfast, then go to class and work months ahead of other students because you knew you're going to be traveling and missing some classes, so you had to work harder than anyone else in the room, then go back and have practice followed by hours of recovering and a meal, all with the same 25 people you started your day with at 5 a.m. just to go to bed and do it all over again. That's not normal. You're seeking a not normal life. So if you're seeking a not normal life, you're going to seek exceptional results. And if you're going to seek both of those things, you're going to need not normal, exceptional effort. You know that your child has a volleyball value and you know they want to play in college. Let's look at how we can start showing coaches this value. So the common way of doing the recruiting process is you send coaches film, you go to a camp or a showcase, you make sure the school passes the broken leg test, and you have them give you an offer. Okay, so no wonder you're overwhelmed. There's zero info in that process. This is a much better way. First, let's erase the broken leg test, because when this phrase was coined, NCAA looked different and medicine looked different. Now you can have a serious knee injury and be back for next season. Plus, coaches can't legally drop you because of an injury. So that's kind of a meaningless point, and it's just confusing. If the school doesn't meet your kids' needs to begin with, don't reach out to them, right? So this is a better way. 1, understand your volleyball value and then build everything else out from that, okay? We know what film we should make. We know what schools we want to contact. We know how we want to move the coaches along on your recruiting journey. We know what you need to know from the phone call. We know what you need and want to see on a visit. We know what offers you need to make playing in college worth it. And guess what? That's how I teach the process. It makes it so much more manageable because it's built off of you, right? The goal isn't you want anyone to play in college. The goal is you want your kid to play in college, okay? So we have to build it off of your kid. We have to build everything else from that. And it takes so much guesswork out, okay? It makes it doable. It makes it something that you can actually see a journey rather than being bounced around like a ping pong ball, okay? You have to understand your value. And when you understand your value, coaches are able to see that value, not just evaluate skill versus skill, but they can say, that kid will make my roster better. That kid will go to war for me. That kid I want in my jersey. That kid can be a college volleyball player. Which brings me to my previous point becoming a college volleyball player, becoming a not normal person isn't easy. Some of you parents, you may be former college athletes, or if you never were, think of a former college athlete you know. They were probably different, right? They put themselves in hard situations and tough situations, and they approach things totally different. So your child is not a college athlete yet. So they're still kind of in that normal realm. They're still kind of normal in that regard. And the recruiting process is the first place that you have to push yourself in to start growing into that not normal college athlete. So that's why so many college coaches don't like when kids have someone else do the process for them. It's not that it's not doable by someone else, and it's not that it won't end up in the same spot. It's that there is momentous growth that happens during the recruiting journey. The journey itself is not for the weak. The journey itself isn't for the kids that just expect someone to do everything for them and they just get to show up and play ball. The recruiting process is a large task that catapults your kid into a new experience that can be so rewarding. This is the first big step in a child's life into adulthood. Yeah, when you turn 16, you got a car, but that car comes back to your parents' house. It won't come back to your parents' house every night when you're in college. The recruiting process can be one of two things. It can be a frustrating waste of time, or it can be a tool in your journey that helps shape you into the person that you were created to be. Is there a place for parents in the process? Yes, yes, yes. I love it. And honestly, for those families that don't think there is a place for parents in the process, that's not my favorite thing. There is a huge place for parents in the process. And there's a huge role for coaches like me in the process. I'm not a recruiter, I'm a coach, okay? But the parent's role and the coach's role don't matter if the kid isn't willing to fulfill their role. The child is leading this. The parent is coming alongside them because no one will have your child's best interest in mind better than you. Literally no one. And no one will understand them better than you. No one will be able to see things that may be red flags and not get shiny object syndrome better than you. And then I coach you on how we get there in your timeline, in your way, in a way that finds a coach that truly values your child. That's the role all three of us play here. But no one can do their job if we don't know where we're going. Where are we going? Goals can be just something that is an unreachable thing, and you're hoping that you do it if you don't set a plan. All right? The quote is, a goal is a dream with a due date.
If this was helpful, make sure you hit that bell and subscribe. If you're ready to get more one-on-one or direct help, I am here. My email is below. I would love to talk to you. I would love to discuss how I can help your family in the recruiting process. I also have some resources if you don't feel ready to talk just yet. That's totally fine. As always, I'm super glad you're here. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week.